Hello, my friends. Good night. Thank you for being here with me in this quest challenge that I am doing regarding the BGP series. To the ones who know me, uh, and to the ones who don't know me, my name is Luis Narciso. I'm a network and security engineer, and for today's lab, I promised that we should insert in here in this topology, switch from extreme networks and connect it as a provider edge to the Mikrotik and to the FortiGate so that it can have a scenario uh, dual homed. Uh, so let's begin. I will insert first here the loopback addresses that are configured on the Mikrotik and on the FortiGate. So that we can have a visual of what we have and what we don't have. Mhm. Now I am going to insert the node. It's not network, sorry. It's node extreme OS. We are going to manipulate this router and we are going to give him the name router extreme dash one. For the ports, we are going to need one more. Let's put 4 ports on the extreme switch. Let's save. We are going to make it run. Okay, it's starting. It's saying that the authentication service, AAA authentication authorization and accounting, it's now available. It means that now we can log in on the switch. So let's log in on the switch. Let me put this a little bit smaller. Okay, password. I believe that the password is blank. Admin and password blank. Yes. So this is the first time that we are running this node. So do you want to disable multiple spanning tree? Nope. The switch offers enhanced security mode. Would you like to read more? Nope. Would you like to disable telnet? Nope. Would you like to enable SNMP v1, v2? Nope. Would you like to enable SNMP v3? Nope. Would you like unconfigured ports to be turned off by default? Nope. Would you like to configure failsafe? Nope. Okay, and we are now on the Extreme OS switch. Um, the Extreme OS has a particularity. It means that if you see this number here, it means that it's the number of commands that we have inserted on the device. So for each command that is accepted by the device, it will increase this number. It's just a way so that we can track our job and what we are doing. So let's begin and let's connect the extreme switch to the Mikrotik, and we are going to connect port 2 to port 2. Okay, now we are going to attribute the range to this link as similar to what we did from the Mikrotik port 1 to the FortiGate port 1, and it will be 100.21.12.0/27. Because it comes from router 2 to router 1, and we have the second octet as 21. The third octet, it's from router 1 to router 2, it's a 12, and we are going to apply. I placed in here a /27 so that we can use the IPs 12 on the extreme switch and 21 on the Mikrotik. This is the why. So we are going to place in here the number 12 so that we can know better what we are doing, and here the number 21. So, and this is how we are going to start. We can start or in the extreme switch and configure it, or on the Mikrotik side. I will begin in the Mikrotik side. So for this, we are going to insert the address for Ethernet 2. And for that, we are going to place in the command IP address add, and we are going to add the address 121.12.21/27, and to the interface Ether2. I believe I missed something. I missed the network. Let's see. Export. So in the interface, oh, it placed in order the network without. It wasn't necessary for me to configure it. Okay, nice. So we have the address on the Mikrotik configured. Now we are going to configure the Mikrotik process similar to what we did to the FortiGate regarding the BGP. So for that, we are going to routing BGP connection add, and we are going to add the name, and so that we know and we can troubleshoot better in the future this process. And we are going to say that is router extreme 1 peer. More. What are we going to say? We are going to say that we are on the AS 55,000. Our remote AS will be the 65,001, and we are going to insert this just in a while. More. We are going to say that the remote address of the extreme, it will be 100.21.12.12. More. What are we going to say? We are going to say that this role will be an eBGP process. The address families would be IP. We are going to say that it is going to connect and it is going to listen. The connect and listen here on the Mikrotik means that it allows the Mikrotik to establish a TCP connection on port 179 with the peer. And the listen means that the routers can exchange routes, can receive and advertise, so they are listening for it. But I will confirm this in the future. let's say that we are going to redistribute the routes that are connected and static. What do we need more? We need to say that the router ID is 2.2.2.2. We are going to say that the BGP process is not disabled. And what can we say more? We can say that we can put in here a comment to our better understanding in the future when reading the logs, or the logs, not the configuration, that it connects to BGP transit AS-1. To BGP transit, no, to BGP peer. Ah, let's put it like this and then we change it. So now if we say export, we have in here another peer. We add the Mikrotik to FortiGate, and now we have the extreme peer one. Now we can change the comment for this, and we are going to do it like this. Routing BGP connection print, and it's number 1. So routing BGP connection edit 1, and we need to edit the value, that is comment. Okay, nice. We are on the text mode. Connects to BGP provider edge 1. We can say that is the AS65001. Okay, and now to save it, we need to press Ctrl O. It's done. If we do a print again, now we have it with these comments. Nice. For the Mikrotik site, I believe it's done. Now we need to go to the extreme, but first of all, I am going to insert here the AS and say that it belongs to AS65001. And we are also going to create a loopback interface in here with the number 1.1.1.1. So for now, I believe that's it. Let's go to our extreme switch and let's start configuring it. So for the extreme switch, first of all, we are going to change the hostname, and to configure the hostname here, we will use the SNMP because it is how it works. So configure SNMP, and now we are going to configure the sysname, and we are going to introduce it, router extreme 1. And as I told you, now we have the number 2 after the hostname. It means that we have inserted a command and it was accepted. Now we are going to create a VLAN. Create VLAN, let's say 120, and we are going to give it a name. Configure VLAN 120 name, and what name should we give it? I'm sorry. So for the name we are going to say that is oops, what happened here? Something went wrong. Give me just a moment. My boba extreme. Close my connection. Let's see why. Hmm, maybe a bug of my mobile extreme. Let's see what we have configured. Show configuration. So, okay, the VLAN name was accepted as TRA instead of transit. So let's change it. Configure VLAN 120 name, and let's say it is TRANSIT-ISP. Transit, I, oops, TRANSIT-ISP. Okay. Show configuration VLAN 120. Show configuration VLAN, and we have now that the VLAN is 120. Is the VLAN transit ISP tag 120. And what are we going to say? We are going to say that port 2 belongs to VLAN 120 and is untagged. Untagged why? Because the untagged means that is an access port. So configure VLAN 120 add ports 2 and untagged. Nice, it's done. So let's add a description to the port too, so the troubleshooting could be easier on the future. Configure port 2 description, and let's say that it connects to router Mikrotik 2. Okay, now we need to transform or to set an IP on this port so that it can behave as a switch virtual interface. So uh, I don't know if I explained myself correctly. We are going to attribute to VLAN 120 the IP address, and the VLAN 120 is configured on port 2, so it will behave as a switch virtual interface. If I am mistaken, please comment on the video or on the LinkedIn. Please help me to improve my topology so that we all can learn. Okay. So configure VLAN 120 IP address. It will be 100.21.12.12, and the subnet mask would be /27 255 255 255 224. If I'm not mistaken, because /25 is 128, /26 it is 192, and /27 is 224. That's correct. Now we need to enable IP forwarding on this VLAN. And why? Because with IP forwarding, the VLAN will be able to forward the packets that arrive to another interface, and it's why it's necessary. Without that, the VLAN would act as isolated. It's not VLAN enable IP forwarding on VLAN 120. Okay, it's done. Now let's go to the loopback address. To configure the loopback address, we also need to create a VLAN for it. So we are going to create a VLAN named loopback1, and we are going to enable as a no, it is processing yet. Let's wait. it's done. Let's enable loopback mode on this VLAN. I created the VLAN. It's not export. Show configuration VLAN. Okay. Configure VLAN loopback one. So oops. Now we can change the name. Configure VLAN loopback one name. Mhm. Now it's created as I wanted, with the first letter in uppercase and the others in lowercase. So now we need to enable the loopback mode for this VLAN. And we are going to configure an IP address for it that is 1.1.1.1/32. Okay, interface created, loopback one, it's okay, it's ready to go. So now let's see what do we have on the IP routes, on the routes in the table of the switch. Show IP route. So in here we have this network directly connected, and we have the loopback also. And you see that it's D stands for, what is the D? Direct. Stands for direct. So let's test connectivity from this interface to the Mikrotik. Ping VR default. If you are not familiar with extreme networks, VR means virtual router, because in the switch we can create various virtual routers, each one with its routing table, similar to VRFs. Okay, so for now we are configuring this switch on the virtual router default, and only one routing table. So let's ping from the VR default the IP of the Mikrotik 121.12.12, and we are going to ping from our loopback address, for example. And success, we are using our loopback address and we are going towards the Mikrotik. Oh, I'm sorry, we are not going towards the Mikrotik. We are pinging towards the interface on the extreme switch. The Mikrotik is .21. And we don't have connectivity from the Mikrotik. And that is a thing that doesn't surprise us, because the Mikrotik doesn't have the route to 1.1.1.1. Only after the BGP process is established we will be able to do this ping. So for now, what can we try to do. We can to see if we have connectivity from the directly connected. It should work. So we are going to ping from our .12 to the Mikrotik .21. And yes, we are having success, as you can see. Let's change the behavior for 1.1.1.1, configuring the BGP process on the extreme switch. And for that, we are going to first of all enable the BGP. Okay. So this command should be the last one. Why did I put this command on the first place? Because on Friday, I tried to record a video similar to this one, and after 30 minutes of working on it, I depared myself doing troubleshooting because of the BGP process not going up. And I've seen myself after 1 hour and a half doing troubleshooting, and the video was recording, and I stopped it, and I didn't publish it because you don't have to be with me looking at my troubleshooting for 1 hour and a half. And that was why I didn't publish it in the last Friday. So after that time, I figured out that the problem was on the BGP process, and I inserted it here, but I need to insert it on the end after configure the BGP. So for now, we are going to configure the BGP without enabling it for now. So configure BGP AS number, and it's the 65001. We are going to configure the router ID as 1.1.1.1, and as we are going to configure the BGP in with dual load scenario, we are going to set the maximum path to equal to ECMP, equal cost multipath, if I'm not mistaken. And to do that, we need to configure BGP maximum path, and we are going to say that we are going to have two maximum paths, one to the Mikrotik and one to the FortiGate. What can we do more? We are going to create on this BGP process the neighbor for the Mikrotik. So create BGP neighbor, and we are going to insert the IP of our neighbor 121.12.21, and we are going to say that it lives on the remote ES number 65,000. Now we need to enable the BGP neighbor, and we are going to say that the neighbor is the IP from the Mikrotik. Now we are going to enable BGP to export the static routes and the direct routes. Done. And now that we have both processes up running on the Extreme and on the Mikrotik, we should have the BGP established. But as I told you from my troubleshooting in the past, I didn't insert this command, so the BGP process wasn't established, and we can see that it isn't established with the command show BGP. And here we see on on the first line that um, regarding the BGP, it's enabled, and the switch is saying no, operation status down, and we have everything configured, but we don't have the BGP process running. And if we insert the command so BGP neighbor, we are going to see that the status is on idle. It's not working, it's not establishing adjacencies. And on the last Friday, I didn't know why, and I struggled a lot to understand this. So what we are missing is the enable BGP command. Okay, we are going to insert it. It's done. And now if we go again to see show BGP neighbor, boom, established. It's working. Amazing, right? And I lost, well, 1 hour and a half just because of this command. But now you know it. And if you need to configure it on an X-Stream switch, don't forget to enable it after configuring it. So, what can we try now? Now we can try to reach the Mikrotik from the loopback interface 1.1.1.1. But first of all, let's go to our Mikrotik router that it's here, and it went out. I don't know why. My mobile stream today, it's crazy. Let's open it again. Okay. Let's see if we have the route to 1.1.1.1. And we have it. Here it is. 1.1.1.1. It's active. Learned via BGP. It's from a B. We don't know for sure if it is from a B, but if we go here to the distance, we can see that it's 20, and the administrative distance from the external BGP it's 20, and for the internal BGP is 200, and this is the route learned from the FortiGate. But what do we need is route to 1.1.1.1. So this said, if we go to the Extreme switch and we do a ping from the VR default, and we say that we want to ping the Mikrotik, that is the IP 100.21.12.21, and we say that we are going to ping from our loopback interface 1.1.1.1, we should have success, I hope. Boom, working. Now we have routes to Mikrotik from our loopback. More, what can we do more? We can see what are the routes that we are learning from the BGP process. Show BGP routes all. And amazing, look at this. We have routes to our Mikrotik loopback, we have routes to the FortiGate loopback, we have routes to the the link between the the Extreme and the Mikrotik. We have routes to the link between the Mikrotik and the FortiGate. So let's test it. Let's ping. Um, let's ping our FortiGate loopback. And it's not working. And why it's not working? Hmm. Any policy from? Should we have a policy to ping 4.4.4 on the FortiGate? Maybe. So let's try to ping 124.42.24. That is the interface on the Mikrotik. Yeah, we are going there and to the FortiGate. Oh, the FortiGate isn't answering. Hmm. Maybe the FortiGate isn't rules or routes from 4.4.4.4 to 1.1.1.1. Yeah, that should be the problem. Well, we will see it in the future. For now, we are going to go on. We have the BGP process established. We have seen that we have routes. We can ping everything but the loopback on the FortiGate. So now we need to do the configurations on the FortiGate. And to do the configurations on the FortiGate, we are going to create a link from the XTRM switch to the FortiGate. And this link would be from port 1 on the switch to port 2 on the FortiGate. And here we are going to insert the range 100.14.41.0/26. Cool. I'm sorry. It's similar to our thinking for these links, for these ranges. And we are going to insert the IPs. For this side would be .14 and for the other side would be .41. Okay, it's done. So let's start on the switch and let's configure the VLAN that will be mapped to port 1. So let's go to the FortiGate. And now, sorry, it wasn't supposed to start with with the FortiGate. It was supposed to start with the XTRM. And we are going to create the VLAN 140 and we are going to configure it. Configure VLAN 140 name TRANSIT-ISP to configure VLAN 140 and let's add port 1 as untagged so that it behaves as an access port. Okay, it's done. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to add in to add a description to the port. And we are going to configure the IP address on the VLAN. Configure VLAN IP address. Okay, I missed the 140s. And it will be 100.14.41.14. And we will have /26 that is finishing in 192. 255.255.255.192 and boom. And let's also enable IP forwarding for VLAN 140. So Now that we have this, we need to create the process or the process node, the BGP peer on the BGP process. So let's do it. Let's create BGP neighbor, and we are going to say that our neighbor is 100.14.41.41, and it belongs to remote AS number 65,000. We are going to enable the BGP peer, the BGP neighbor 100.14.41.41, and if we say show BGP neighbors, now we have two neighbors, and we are trying to connect to our FortiGate neighbor, but I believe that it will give an error because we haven't the configuration set it up in the FortiGate. So in a while it will go to an idle state. So for the BGP to establish the connection, it will start with connect, uh, active, open sent, open confirm, and established, if I'm not mistaken. But if in any of these message the connection fails, it will fall back to idle. So with this done, now we can go to our FortiGate and try to configure it. So what are we going to do here? We are going to configure our port 2. I believe that is after 180 seconds that this will fall back to idle, but I am not sure. It's 3 minutes. We will see it in a few moments. So for now, we are going to configure our port on the FortiGate. Configure system interface. Let's edit port 2. And now we are going to say that this port belongs to the VDOM root, the main VDOM. Where we are going to set the IP as 100.14.41.41, and it's /26. We are going to set allow access ping HTTP, that super secure protocol, and the other one that is also super secure. I'm joking, as you may know. And please don't use this in production. Never, never, never. And I have said never. I will say it again. Never. Let's set the type of the interface physical. Let's place a description. Router FortiGate 4 to router Extreme 1. Let's say that the role of this interface is 1. And I believe that's it for now. Next. Boom. Done. Now we need to configure the BGP process or the BGP neighbor on the BGP process that we have on the FortiGate. So show BGP, show router BGP. And here on the process we can see that we have our router ID and we have the neighbor on the autonomous system 65,000, that is the Mikrotik. So we need to place something similar to this, but for the extreme switch. Config router BGP. We are going to enter the AS 65,000, and now we are going to configure in the AS 65,000 the neighbor. Config neighbor. We are going to edit the config neighbor. We are going to edit the neighbor, and we are going to do that editing the and inserting the IP. Okay, 114 41 41. Huh? Why this cannot configure IP address as peer? Of course not. It's our IP. It's 14. Oh yeah. Luis, you need to take more attention to stuff. So now that we have it, we need to say that it belongs to the remote autonomous system as 65,001. Okay, now it's done. Okay, we have the two peers, Mikrotik and the extreme switch. What are we going to do now? Now we need a policy that should allow traffic, and we are now seeing that we have the process established at 20 seconds with the with the with the Mikrotik and the FortiGate. Amazing. So let's see the BGP. Let's see. No, let's configure a policy for the traffic that comes to port 2 can be allowed, because at this moment in time, if we try to reach port 2, we are not going to have success. So let's do it again. Where were we? FortiGate. Okay. Now we need to configure a firewall policy. Configure firewall policy. If we place a show, we are going to see that we have a policy to our loopback 4 from port 1. So it means that the traffic that comes from port 1 to loopback 4 would be allowed. In this case, is from the Mikrotik. But we don't have a policy saying that the traffic that comes in port 2 to our loopback 4 is allowed. So we need to change this. And we also may need another policy saying that the traffic that arrives at port 2 and is destined to port 1 can be allowed. Because if this link fails, the traffic to reach the Mikrotik should follow port 2 to port 1. So for now, what we can do is to allow the access from port 2 to loopback 4 and another policy from port 2 to port 1. And so you may need also from port 1 to port 2. So we need three policies. Let's place them in order. So let's start with the first one. Edit 2. Let's copy this. And now we are going to say set allow port 2 to loopback 4. We are going to delete this. We are going to say that the source interface is port 2, the destination interface is loopback 4, the action is accept, source address all, destination address our loopback 4 IP, schedule all, service all, log traffic all, and next. Okay, done. So now if we try to ping from our router Extreme to our loopback 4, we should have success. Let's see it. Let's see it in action. Let's see, show IP route BGP. No, we don't have BGP. Show BGP IP route. Nope. Show BGP routes. All. And we have this one on the table that is going towards 121.12.21. What does the DM stands for? What does the flag M multipath? Okay, it has two paths. This is the best. It shouldn't be the best because the best is directly well, let's see. So ping vr dash default 4.4.4.4 from 1.1.1.1, and we are not having success once again. Why is that? Why is that? So from the link that goes to the Mikrotik, we can ping, but from the link that goes from the Extreme to the FortiGate, we can't. And if we stop this link, let's see, let's shut down this port, for example. How can we shut down the port? Configure ports 2. I don't know what is the command to shut down the port 2 on the Extreme switch. So if we shut it down on the Mikrotik, let me see. Once again, troubleshooting. Interface, internet. Edit, enter 2. Okay. Interface disable header 2. And now for interface Ethernet 2, do we have here something saying that it's disabled? No, we don't have. Oh, yes, it's here. It's disabled. So let's go again here and see if we can ping the 4.4.4.4 from our IP.14, and it is also having timeouts. We need to figure out this. So let's enable the interface again. And let's place in order the other policies that we should have on the FortiGate. Config firewall policy. Let's see what we have. We have two policies. We have allow port 1 to loopback 4, allow port 2 to loopback 4. So let me see just something. Execute ping to 1.1.1.1. We reach the 1.1.1.1. Execute traceroute 1.1.1.1. What is the path that we are going? It says it's direct. It only has one hope. So following this, it is going directly to the extreme. Okay. What do we have on the routing table? We have that we can reach the 1.1.1.1 via the 114.41.14. So from here, so why aren't we able to ping? Let's see what does the trace route says from here. Did we enable the IP forwarding on the VLAN? Weird. We are not having. This is very weird for me. But let's continue. Config firewall policy. Show. Let's place now in order a policy that allows communications from port 2 to port 1 and from port 1 to port 2. Allow port 1 to port 2. Let's delete this. Source interface port 1. Destination interface port 2. Source address all. Destination address all. Log traffic. Service all. Okay. Ah, damn. I changed the policy 1. It should be the third policy. The abort means that I will not assume the change that I have made to the policy. Let's see. Yes, it wasn't changed. So to add another, we need to edit the third policy, and now we can do this. Allow port 1 to port 2. Delete the UUID, unique user ID, if I'm not mistaken. It is a ID for the firewall to recognize the policy. So source interface port 1, destination interface port 2, action accept, source address all, destination address all. schedule always, set service all, log traffic all. Next. So let's say okay. Let's edit 4, and for the 4 it's port 2 to port 1. Chain address all. Let's say okay. Let me see if I didn't make any mistake here. No, it seems it's okay now. Let's see. We have a policy that says that from port 1 to loopback 4 we accept. We have a policy that says that from port 2 to loopback 4 we accept. We have a policy that says that from port 1 to port 2 we accept, and from port 2 to port 1 we accept. So now this traffic should work. But it's not working. Why? From the link to the Mikrotik, it's working. But from the other not. It is on the routing table. I don't understand why. Um, but our goal is done, and we are now with 1 hour and 8. I believe this is too long, but once again I want to say thank you for being here with me and for watching to this video. I hope that it was informative for you, and let's see what we can do on the next on the next day to increase the topology. Maybe for the next day I would go to place in here another firewall, but for this time a Palo Alto firewall, okay? And similar to what we did with the Extreme, we are going to establish connectivity to another provider edge that will belong to the AS 65002, okay? And I will try to figure out the why of the communications from this link to this loopback isn't working, okay? So thank you for watching. It was a pleasure to be here with you, and let's see what the future brings. Have a nice day.